hone in your skills, how to make your hand-eye coordination better. So these are some exercises that I think might help. And one of them is the maze. As you can see, I've drawn an ink circle, and I just did it with the pen. And so pick your best pen, pick your poison, I guess, but pick your best pen. And what you want to do is you want to create a pattern within a circle, and you want to get it to do a very specific thing. And what is that thing I want you to do? You're just going to create a maze, and you can go around and around and around and around and around, or you can come back and forth, back and forth. You can start out going around, and you want to try to fill this whole thing with the tightest, closest maze you can make without touching each other. I haven't done this in a while, and I used to do it really good. And I'm not going to have you watch me do this whole circle. I guess I could time lapse it, but I don't have the time to do the whole circle. You have time to do the whole circle because you don't need to go to sleep tonight. You can just do it. But what I want you to do is I want you to try to get this circle as filled in and as tight as possible. And a lot of artists will do this, especially if you have to have a trained hand. They'll do this every day. I did a pretty big circle. You could do a smaller one. So what I'm going to do is just pick up here, and I'm going to go around. And you want to come in. And it's not going to be perfect. You can lift the pen. You don't have to stay down there. And you're going to go around and around and around. And it's getting awkward, and I'm struggling here because it's a different direction than I like to move. And remember, I've talked about that. Okay, I've talked about that, where every direction you go in, you have your strengths and weaknesses. You can spin the pad. You can try to meet up. Not so easy to do. And literally just come around and around and around as tight as you can get. And instead of meeting, I'm going to go up and over and come in. And I'm going to go around. And you want to not touch and get as close as you possibly can. And you'll find out that, look at this, I'm like wavering because I was not in a good position, and I'm touching. Now you die. Yep, it's dead. You're not supposed to touch. Death to touching. So I should have like a big explosion happen there. But that's what you want to do. And you want to say, oops, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Don't touch. Don't touch. Don't touch. Lift up. Don't touch. Don't touch. Get as closer. Get as close as you can. I'm pushing, and look what I did. See, I was pushing, not pulling. And that is where my weakness is. And you just saw it. I have a weakness, and I have to pull or go right to left. So I move my hand, and I'll be fine now because I'm going, from left to right. And I'm good with that. I'm actually not good with right to left. So now I'm left to right, and I'm fine. I'm going to turn, and I'm going to pull. Pulling towards me now. Pulling towards me, and this is even a little more comfy. Now I'm going to go right to left. Okay, this is where I get weak. So I have to work on it. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to make my brain work. I'm really thinking about it. Now, how can I be thinking about it and talking at the same time? Well, I have the ability to put my brain in two places at the same time. It gets a little distracting. I was pushing right there. I start to falter. Look, you can see my weak points. So I'm finding my weaknesses, and I'm seeing my strength. And you see how nice, like it's just easy right there for me. So find your weaknesses, find your strengths this way. I went around and around and around a few times. And now, you can decide, oh, I'm bored with that, and you can go back. Go back. But try to go around longer than what I did. Really try it. Try one that you go all the way around. Now, I had a student committed to getting better, and he literally did this every day. And you know what happened? He started getting better. And then he got into it. He just start his day every day like this. Do this for a few minutes. And he said it really helped him. So do one spiral in and then start doing this. And you want to try to do one continuous line. You can stop. I don't like what I'm doing here. I don't know why I did it. You can do one continuous line. Oop, I'm touching. Why am I touching? Because you see how fast I was trying to go? So, not good. So I think going around actually was taxing my brain a lot more. So go around and around and around and around. And then maybe if you want to do a little one, you know, do one about, well, here's the pot of paint I'm about to paint in. It's a little smaller. Don't go too small because then you're not going to learn to take a long stretch and path, okay? So this is a good thing, you know, to do for your brain as an artist. And if you can actually not think about anything else, because here I am, I'm talking, you know. But if you cannot think about anything else, it's actually a form of meditation. And that can't be a bad thing. Literally, you could just keep doing this and make what we call a mandala, which is the roundness of round. Just keep trying to get round. So boring, I know, but this is something. Oh, look how close I got and I didn't touch. I'm getting better. I'm getting better and better. Now, you may not want to use your super good pens. I don't recommend a Sharpie because they flood. If you do use a pen like I'm using, just realize you're going to wear that ink right out. But, you know, I think just like wearing down a pencil down to a nub, that's just a lot of work. It's a lot of growth. And that's what you want to do. Have growth. It's just symbolic. So keep going, guys. Do a maze, all right? Work on that. It will help to control. And look at all the glitches I've got. But this is my weak area, right? Learn to spin the paper. I wanted you to see that we all have strengths and weaknesses in terms of direction and how we're going to work with things, okay? Especially different tools. I've seen students who work brilliantly with pen but can't do ink and brush. You know, it's struggles. Oops, sorry. Okay, so then what we're going to do is move into helping you with the brush. And that is, I just made red and green. But look, the red and green is not going to become Christmas, okay? Because I put a shade of red and a shade of green. I could do a tone of green, actually. I should probably add white to that. And then I have brushes, various brushes to use. Let's see. I have one that's clean, and then I have this one. You can see that there's ink in there. Well, I already have black in these, so I think I should be all right, right? And I was going to use these brushes because I really like the size of these brushes. Where is it? There we go. As you can see, they're a little beat up, but they're dark. They were dark bristled brushes already. And I figured you can't see what the brush is doing when the brush is this dark, but I'll give it a shot. This is the 1/4 inch Premier Midnight Angle, okay? This one is the Angle Shader Princeton Art 1/4 inch. It's a little longer. This angle is what I prefer to use, and I'm going to try to get right in there with brush and show you how to lay that brush down, lay it down, and then move, and it will give you that straight edge. If you're trying to brush the straight edge, you're doing this. Oh gosh, I just did a pretty good job. I'm watching the brushes. I can do it. I'm trying to do this through the camera. But literally, if I lay this down, oh, look at that perfect line happening. And I'm not doing the work. And I'm literally doing this through the camera. If you try to go like this, it works too. But it's a little bit more angular, a little more of a struggle. But there it goes, it meets. So try to do it when your brush is dry. And see if you can get it to fit. Can I get this brush to fit right in here? Let's actually move this up. And I'm going to see, can I get that to fit? I can. I think I'd start here and then go in. And I can get it to fit. That's what you want to do. You wanted to get that brush in and brush it down across. Look at that, I'm kind of doing it. Yep, there's a little falter, but I would just go back. And you can then clean your brush and fill that in and start new. Dip in a little water, mix it up. So that's what you're going to see me do. I may or may not. I'm just going to figure out the combination. Do I want red and 2 green? And actually that'll work. And I think what I'll do is I'll do the red in here. Or actually I think I'll do the green. No, I'll do the red there. I'm going to have that focal point. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I have a little bit of water with me because I need it. And I need a paper towel. Always helps to have a paper towel. And I'm going to brush using this angle brush. Now I have other brushes and I tend to not want to use them, but I'm going to grab a couple of them. All right. Here's a funny thing. I got this kit, right? And it comes with a brush in it. Look how beautiful that brush picture is, right? Almost looks like I'm holding a brush. It's pretty good. They did a pretty good job. So I'm like, oh, there's a brush in there. I pull the brush out. And it is the worst brush I've ever seen. I have never, even kids' brushes. Look at it, is the worst brush ever. I've never seen a brush so scrappy looking. It just literally, I don't care how much water you add to that. I don't care how you try to make that brush. I just dipped it in water. Nope. This is a crappy brush, so that I could use to mix. That would be all I use it for. I have these other brushes, and they are all a size 1 or a 2, I believe. They're all 2s. Okay. So if I need them, I'll use them. But again, I highly recommend trying to use that angle shader. So wet the brush a little bit. Now, the honey water, I could make some available. I have it over here again. I just have, ooh, boy, less than a quarter cup with 1 drop of honey in it. And I'll just leave it here. I'm going to put a little bit in the lid. And once in a while, I'll dip the brush in. Or actually, you know, if I have another container, I don't want the, yeah, this is better. Here we go. I have one of these containers. I'm just going to put a couple drops of honey water in here. and I'll use that, and then I'll keep the rest of this 1/4 cup for the rest of the project. Okay, laying that brush down. I'm gonna pick up some paint, pick up some water. The brush is dampened, okay? And then I'm gonna pick up this red and I'm gonna mix it just a little bit in here, okay? Just a little bit. And I've been chatting. I'm gonna add 1 drop of water. I just added 1 drop of water, there it is. I'm gonna pick up that drop of water and go back to that spot that I was using. And now that's enough water. And I'm gonna lay this paint down. Practice here in the middle before you go to the line. Now just remember, this is practice. So if I screw up or you screw up, it's all okay, all right? Because you're just training yourself. You can train yourself to go around the circle, okay? So what I'm gonna do is come in. I'm not gonna go right to that line. Your instinct is to go right to that line. Don't do it. Practice out here first. Oh, look at that great line I'm creating. That works. Now I'll go in. And I'm gonna just pull towards me. Why am I pulling it? Because I know that's my best way to go. Now I'm gonna push. Let's see if I can concentrate. I'm not gonna say anything. I have to think harder. This is not easy for me, that direction. So, should you suffer? As they say, suffer fools, right? I just added a little more water. I felt like the brush needed it. And I'm actually mixing now. I'm mixing that water into that little pot. I'm just mixing it. So, giving my brush just enough color. Okay, here we go again. I'm gonna come in here and then go to the edge. And smooth that out. Let it dry. Again, dipping it in the water, but this, you know, when I mix this, and I've been doing a couple different things, so this paint probably could use a mist. All right, I'm gonna come back to pulling. I'm comfortable with pulling. Lay the brush down. Look at it doing that for me. It's doing all the work. I don't have to do any of it. I just have to guide it. Now, I'm going to come in. I'm going to let go of some of that paint. And I come up, and I can push that little bit. I'm actually pulling, not pushing. Pulling up. Now I'm going to pull, and I'm going to be in my other best direction. And I have to say that doing that little pen exercise, I feel a little sharper. I gotta say it works. That little pen exercise really sort of honed my skills, calmed me down, got me ready to do this. I think I'm going to do it a little more often because sometimes I just dive in and paint. You know, so here I just learned a lesson for myself that I feel much more comfortable laying the paint down this way. I think I'm even going to confident enough to go right to that corner and lay it down. Slow down. Smooth it out. Now I'm going to pull. I applied a light pressure. There's a glob. I'm going to smooth it out. I don't want globs. And now I'm in the right position. Look how perfect that is. I'm in the right exact position to pull that paint. I got no complaints there. I'm just going to pull. Oh, look at this. My brush is overloaded, guys. It's overloaded. I want you to see it. You see? I have too much. So I'm just going to lay it down here until I get the right amount. And now I got most of it off. I can come right in and pull. Hold steady, hold steady, hold steady. I don't like talking. And now I'm going to come in. I think I have a glob of paint. I don't like it. There we go. I got rid of it. Okay, I'm holding my breath. Not the best thing to do. But I was going like this. That's kind of an awkward thing. It was an awkward direction. But I could do it because I really concentrated and I watched that brush. And I have to honestly say, this exercise, that few minutes I did, really worked. Look how nice and rich that is. Super rich. Okay. So what I'm going to do next is get a new thing. I didn't even really need, I didn't even need to use too much honey water. I think I dipped it once. But that could just be the, getting a fresh thing of water because I'm switching colors. See, I just cleaned it and I got a fresh, clean thing of water and I cleaned the brush. That's what you got to do. So I have buckets here. And when I say buckets, it's a quart or two. I'm using buckets of water. Plus, if I have white in this brush, I'll go to the sink and wash it if I'm going to a shade. But I started with the shades. So now I'm going to put the green in. And I'm going to put some clean, fresh water in. And I know this has been sitting here the whole time. And so I know that it probably wants to dry out on me. So I'm going to take a little paint that I need for this project. I'm going to dip it in the clean water, which means the clean water has a little tint of green already. And there I'm mixing the water in right there. I'm not putting honey water in. I'll see how this goes. I don't know how this is going to go. This is permanent green. You might have that green with some black in it. Oops, sorry, as a shade. And I feel like it has nice, good consistency. Oh, it could go a little thinner. I think it, the permanent green I had, I decided to use it because I never really use red and green too much. But this tube was very dry. It was opened a while ago. And so I'm going to just take a minute to mix it off camera because I can't really mix it easily in front of the camera. Not when the camera's placed there. So now I need two cameras. All right, that's better. See how when I pick it up, mix it, and when I do that, it has a little fluidness to it. Not a lot, just a little. All right, we're back in, and let's see what we're gonna get here. I'm gonna, I got way too much on my brush. Let's make sure you can see what I'm doing. I got way too much on my brush. See that? It's a gob. So I'm gonna come in here first. This has no white in it, so it may be thin. I'll probably need 2 coats. I laid the brush down and let the edge do it. Now, I just did something. This is still wet, and you see I did a 3rd stroke, and what did that 3rd stroke do? It lifted the gouache. So you don't want that 3rd stroke. Just let it dry. And then when you go over it again, it'll cover it. I'm going to push. Let's see if I can push. I'm going to concentrate. I'm not comfortable, but I'm going to do it. I'm not going to think about anything else. Not bad. Of course, I could have just spun it and then it would have been easier. But I decided to suffer. So, lesson learned, guys. Don't suffer. See, I just made this easy so I can pull. From where I'm sitting, this is perfect. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to just come in and I'm going to just pull. lost track of what my brush was doing. Couldn't see it, and there's a little glob of paint, and I just messed up what would have been a perfect pull. So what am I going to do? I'll go in there and repair it. I'm also moving the brush a little too fast. I know why I don't like green, but not too bad. That's going to need a second coat. I think I'll work on this side. So I'll do something else before I decide to put a second coat where it needs a second coat. Lay the brush down. I stand, by the way, when I'm working. I'm not sitting. When all the videos that you see, I'm standing. And when I'm in my studio, 95% of the time, I'm standing. So I find standing is a stronger visual angle. And I actually put my work tables to the height of standing. So I have that advantage. When I'm at the studio with students, I ask them to stand. They never do, but those tables are set up for standing. And people want to sit. They have high chairs, so, but most draft tables are made for standing. And then you get a high chair to work with. So I'm going to bring this in, oops, and pull. Lay the brush down and pull. Let the edge, find where your edge is. Find where the paint will lay. And be comfortable in that. Let the brush do it. I don't know how else to describe it. Okay, I'm going to go to my second strength, left to right, because I can't come down and pull. And I can't flip it over because then I have to turn the brush. I'm not comfortable working like this on the right side. So I literally just found my second best position. And in. Now, I'm almost ready for a second coat there, but I'm not quite. So I need to dry that. I think I need to make a plan where these meet. And I think what I'll do is I'll add some white to this so this becomes a tint. And I think that would be sort of a really fun combination with a central focal point shape. Even though it's an exercise, I now have something happening. So it's just about tacky dry. See what happens when I try. Let's see if this here gets this. Second coat. You can work a little faster with the second coat, but you can see that second coat just does it. Again, gouache was the illustrator's paint. And look how it gets so velvety looking. Got really velvety looking. So there's the streaky one coat, and there's two coats. I look to the side, and the streaky one coat one is just about dry too. So I think I can pull it off. I don't have to go right to the edge because I have that glob. Because I let the glob be the edge. And that's a good thing. That's what makes the second coat go on faster. So I know that I'm done here. And I don't have any other greens. So I have to decide, do I mix the white into here? Because I'll never get this color green again. And I'm going to call that done. Let's see, I missed a little spot right there. There we go. Remember, sometimes it wants to pick it up more than it wants to lay it down if you do too much. So don't do too much. Okay, let me go put a little blob of white in there and mix it. I don't need a lot of white. And if we put too much in, I think it will. This is going to lighten up just on the amount that I just put in. So I have just a little bit of white. I'm going to mix that in. So hopefully how I lay the brush down, how you see that brush working, helped you. I gotta make sure it's mixed. Look at that. It's not mixed. Oops, I can focus it. Let's focus. Here we go. And I gotta really mix. Look how much that one wants to dry. So it's gonna take me a minute. So we'll go to time lapse. And I'm going to use the brush. Maybe I'll try something new. So now it's fully dried. And look, you can see it needs a second coat. Not so much there, but this side definitely needs a second coat. So let it dry and then add your second coat. Here's the finished product. Now, we have an interplay of depth, right? We have that tone of green, the shade of green, and it looks as if the red is affecting the tone of the green. So we have visual layering. The brushing took some time, but it looks pretty spot on, and it just takes time. Remember to hang your work up and look at it at any point in the project. Like you design it in pencil, hang it up on the wall, go look at it from a new view. If you only look at something straight up like this, straight up and down with your head over it, and you're really laboring it, you may not see it for what it truly is. It's sort of a myopic viewpoint. We have blinders on. So hang it up on the wall. Make sure you have good light and look away, go straighten something out, and then come back and look at it. And then ask yourself the questions. Does this have all the requirements? Ask yourself, is this going to have the visual layering that Cecile mentions? Is it going to have depth? Am I having a good, strong visual path? All of the projects. This, by the way, has a horizontal path. Give this a try. If you don't feel like you can do the layering, the best thing you can do is to just do one circle. Maybe do 2 circles side by side. You can even go smaller to try to refine this line. This is the line you want to refine right here. Okay, so good luck and practice. Practice your penning, practice the brush strokes. Sometimes we think we can just dive in and do something, but in reality, we need to do some practice. Those little warm-up exercises really hone in the brain to eye hand coordination.